to TerraVision. Select the training room to learn how to use the program, or select the site screen icon to enter the program.
Let's just say it was a lucky hunch and leave it at that.
Say, who's the client?
Come in, Miss...
Vanderkoorts.
Welcome to TerraVision. Select the training room to learn how to use the program, or select the site screen icon
if I locate a certain mineral,
program.
I may find him.
But you want to know what I'm thinking?
This is the
I'm gonna tell you
TerraVision
what I'm
training
thinking.
room.
That this is the biggest
What you see is a
story
site
I've
screen,
ever heard.
the
And
home
believe me,
base
I've
for your
heard plenty.
investigation.
Perhaps this will convince
Select
you,
any
Mr.
feature
Shale.
on this screen to learn about how to use it.
21st Century Rocks
The
wants you to
resources
help
file shows you
solve
where to look for information. The data file helps you
The
investigate
big
a question
dig.
by suggesting ways to collect data. The reports
Meet
file
Archie
helps you
Tremble.
summarize your findings when
An
you're through
ordinary guy.
investigating. This is the expert's icon.
With an
The
extraordinary
experts
problem.
will help focus on important
I'm
parts of the
haunted by
problem
these
at the
fears of
site.
Seismic doom.
This
These
is the
waking
research
nightmares.
icon.
Tectonic
In the
terror.
research activities,
Meet
you can
Dr.
gather
Lowe.
information
He's
to help
trying
you
to
answer
help.
questions.
Investigating geologic processes might
This
be a
is
good
the
beginning.
research icon.
He needs your
In the
help,
research
too.
activities,
Archie
you can gather
is
information to help you
terrified.
answer questions.
Help him.
You will answer the questions
If you
and solve the
dare.
case more quickly if you go through the research activities in the order they're listed. This is the reference icon. Here you can find online resources to assist your investigation. This is the background movie icon. Background movies give information about
don't
the
mention it,
situation
Harry.
at the
You
site.
got your 16 tons of fluoride.
This is a
I got my
hotspot
money.
marker.
Everybody's happy.
By selecting a hotspot, you
How
can
did I
learn
know it
more
was the
about that
dentist made the
feature at the
heist?
site.
Let's just say it was a
This
lucky
is
hunch and leave
TerraVision's
it at
main
that.
menu icon.
Yeah,
From the
come on
main
in,
menu,
Ruby.
you can get training or go to the
Anyway,
site to
Harry,
begin your investigation.
Hey, listen, Harry,
Here you can find
I'll talk to you
copyright
later, okay?
information about the program.
There was no one outside, so I just...
Yeah,
From a
Ruby,
list
my
of
secretary,
helps,
must be
you
taking
can
a
select
long
ones
lunch.
that will
Come
assist
in,
you
miss.
with the section you're
Vanderkoorts.
working on.
Claudia Vanderkoorts.
Here you will find out who
I
developed
inquired
the
at the
program.
hotel for the name of a reliable rock and mineral
This allows
detective.
you to
They gave
leave
me
the
yours.
program.
Oh, well, why don't you tell me about
This
it from the
takes
very
you to the
beginning?
Videopedia.
It's my brother, you see.
Here you can look
He's
up
missing.
words and ideas that are
Why would you need
unfamiliar.
a rock and mineral gumshoe to find your brother?
This takes you to the
I think
main
if I
menu
locate
screen.
a certain mineral, I
From
may
the
find
main
him.
menu, you can get
He's applied
training
as a
or
geologist,
go to the
like
site
myself.
to begin your
He left a few
investigation.
months ago on a field trip. Then,
This
about a week
turns
ago,
the
I got a
narration
call
on
saying
and
he had
off.
made a remarkable
A
discovery.
check mark shows
what
that
he thought was a
narration
very
is
rare,
on.
perhaps undiscovered mineral.
The background
what's so
file
remarkable
explains
about
the
this
problem
new
you've been
mineral?
asked to
Well,
investigate.
I don't know. He wouldn't say, but he was very
This turns
excited
the
about
grabber
this
on and
remarkite.
off.
Oh, he
A
did
check
say it
mark
was a
shows that the
sulfide,
grabber
like
is
pyrite.
on.
Fool's gold.
And
The grabber
galena.
allows you to
The main
create your
word,
own
lead.
media clip
And
from
real
stills
gum.
or
Used
video
for,
segments.
Used for...
Fireworks.
With this tool,
Right.
you can play,
So this
change,
remarkite is a
rearrange,
sulfide.
and add
Sedimentary?
caption cards
That's right.
to your media
So it
clip.
must be formed under anoxic conditions.
Selecting an icon
low
and then
oxygen.
choosing Open is
So
the
we must
same
be
as
talking about a
double-clicking
swamp.
on an icon.
Actually, he said it was a remarkable delta mineral.
This is the database
huh?
icon.
Well, that's
Databases
possible
give you
if it was
information
formed in
on a topic.
low oxygen part of an ancient
The
delta.
question file
Of course,
contains
the
questions
environment
you can
today
investigate.
Could be a desert for
You
all
can pick
know.
one question.
I see
or
you
all
do
of
know
them.
your geology, Mr. Shales.
Select the atlas
I
you'd
did
like
talk
to
to some
see.
other geologists who worked with Clyde. They told
This
me
is
the
the
general
geologic
area he was
timescale.
exploring.
Now they
Pictured
don't
as
know
a
where he
geologic
is.
12-hour
I'm
clock.
afraid not. Clyde
It gives
was
you a
something
picture of the
a loner,
major
Mr.
periods
Shale.
in geologic
but
history
as I said, he
and
realized
what
the
developments
importance of
occurred
his
in each.
discovery. When I spoke
If
to
the
him, he was on
earliest
his way
form
to
of
Washington
life,
to alert
the
government
cell,
officials.
occurred at about
But it appears someone
738.
got to him first.
What
He
time
wasn't
did
on the
human
plane.
beings appear?
No one at the U.S.
You
Geological
can
Survey
select
had heard
points
of
on
him.
the time scale
Well, I'd looked
and
for
get
him
more
myself,
information
but
about
he'd
that
been being
time
followed,
period.
and
And whoever got to your brother might have it
You're
in
in
for
the
sis,
Videopedia.
too.
All
Did you
terms are
tell the
grouped
honchos in
alphabetically.
Washington about your brother's
Select the
discovery?
appropriate book for the
No,
term you want to
I
look
didn't.
up. For
Oh,
an
I know what
alphabetical
you're
listing
thinking.
of all terms,
You're thinking I didn't tell
select
anyone
the
because
index.
perhaps my brother is intentionally hiding
Welcome
his
to the
discovery.
Big
that he's
Dig,
been lured by
the
some
site for
corporation
scientific
into
sleuthing.
selling his mineral to the highest
Watch the
bidder.
background movie to
No,
find out
lady,
about the
that's
case.
not what I'm thinking.
The
If you
file
wanna know what I'm
tabs,
thinking,
icons,
I'm gonna
and
tell you what I'm
hotspots
thinking.
will help
I'm
you
thinking
with your
the reason you
investigation.
didn't tell this story to
Good
the
luck.
muckety-mucks in Washington is because they'd have the same reaction
This
as me.
background file
That this is the
information is a
biggest
written summary of the
cockamamie story
background
I've ever
movie.
heard, and believe me,
You
I've
may
heard
find it
plenty.
convenient to
I don't know
refer
why
to
you
during
came
your
in here. I
investigation.
don't know what it is you want me to do exactly, but I
Select
do
a
know one
question
thing.
you would
If
like
you
to
want me to work for
investigate.
you, you're going to have to come up
By
with something
answering
better
these
than
questions,
a degree in
you will
geology
understand
and a
more
sad
about
look in those
geologic
baby
history
blues.
Perhaps
its
this will
relationship
convince
to
you, Mr.
mineral
Shale.
resources.
A list of Clyde's associates, the geologists
By
I spoke
answering
to
these
about this.
additional key
Talk to them
questions,
if you don't believe
you
my
should
story.
discover several
I'll be
ways
staying
to
at the
analyze
Gibraltar
the
Hotel
question you have
if
chosen.
you decide to contact me about taking the case.
The environment where you live today may once have been completely different. Desert may have been swamp, and a lake may have been a desert.
Some guys fall
See
for
what you can
blondes.
find out about
Me,
how different
I've always
landforms
had
are
a
created.
weakness for geologists. But
You
what
might
was
try
this
this
business
approach for your
about
investigation.
Remarkite? If I put the heat on her, her story
Clyde
might have crumbled
Vanderkortz
quicker than a
says
handful
remarkite
of
is
talc.
found in a rock layer formed in a delta environment. So finding out
But
about the
something
conditions
told
in a
me to
delta
take this
would be
case.
a good place to
Something
start.
else told me I needed to stick around. Keep an
Answering
eye on
this question might be a
dame.
balancing act. Think about the considerations you would weigh in making this decision.
That meant I'd be calling in my
Select the
associates.
question you're investigating
Rookies?
to find out what
Sure,
resources might
but
help
they
you
were all
discover
right.
some answers.
Weren't afraid to get out in the field. Do
Go
the
to the
geology that
resources
had to be
listed
done
on the
if
screen
we were going to
for
get to
help
the
in
bottom,
answering the question you selected.
the rock bottom of this one.
You might try the hotspots for
Here's looking at
information
you, kid.
on all the types of environments you'll be investigating in your research.
Yeah,
A sedimentologist
it's just like Clyde
is a
Vanderkort's to go off
geologist
by
who
himself.
studies sedimentary
But I
rocks
wouldn't worry
and how
about
they
him.
were formed.
But you
Clyde
want to
was
know how
working with a
deltas are formed.
sedimentologist named
Generally,
Rock
they're
Marks.
formed where a river
You
or
might
stream
want to
runs
talk to
into
him
a
first.
large body of water, like a lake or an ocean.
A sedimentologist
All a
is a
delta is,
geologist
really,
who studies
is
sedimentary
an
rocks
accumulation
and
of
how they were
sediment.
formed.
Sand,
Clyde
gravel,
was working
mud.
with a sedimentologist.
The processes that
You might
form a
want to
delta
talk to him
are
first.
complex.
What would
Why?
it cost to
Because we have
mine
an
in the
interplay
desert?
of both river
in a
and ocean
swamp?
environments.
And how
To
would
illustrate
mining
this
in these
concept, I
areas
have dug
affect
a
the
channel to create a
environment?
delta. The
After
channel
you've
represents
completed your
a rapidly
research to
moving
find
body
out
of
where
water
to
that
mine
flows
for
into a still
remarkite,
body of water.
you can find the
Here's how it
answers to
works.
these questions in the third part of the research. The environmental geologist can also provide information. Select the question you would
The
like to
strong stream
investigate.
current pushes sediment along.
Here you will find out
The
where you
largest
can
sediment
record the
drops out
data you have
first.
collected
When the
during your
stream meets
investigation.
the ocean or lake, it slows, causing
To
more
help you
sediment
with
to
your
drop out.
investigation of this question,
Again,
record
the coarser
data
particles
you
will
have
be
collected
deposited
in the
first,
data
near the
section
mouth
of your
the river.
TerraVision field notes. Analyzing core
The
samples in the
force of
core
the stream
lab
current
can
will
provide
spread
data
out the
on
remaining
fossils,
sediment
rock
like a wedge
types,
toward the
and
ocean.
sedimentary structures.
As long as
Clues
more
to the
sediment
history
is
of a
supplied at
landform.
the river's mouth, then
In the
currents, tides,
geohistory
and
puzzle
waves can wash
activity,
away.
you can discover
then a
the
delta
history
will
of an
form.
area and then observe its
You know,
formation.
Clyde was real interested in the sedimentary processes of a delta.
Carefully
the processes
recording
that work on the
information from the
sediments deposited here.
sedimentologist and the field
That
geologist
makes sense
will
if you
help
say
you when
he
you
was
collect
looking for a
data
mineral
in
that
the
was
core
formed
lab.
here. See, if you find evidence of those
Using the
processes
concentration
in the ancient rock
map in the
record,
Big Dig
well, that's a
activity,
pretty good clue
you can collect
that a
data
delta
on locations where
and
you're
this
likely to
remarkite
find the
might be
most
found there.
remarkite.
When you analyze
Data
your
from
core
the environmental
samples, one
zones
thing you look
will
for
give you
is
information on
sedimentary
environmental
structures,
considerations.
like these wave ripple marks. These patterns are made
Here
when
are some
water washes
suggestions
back
for
and
your
forth
final
over
report.
sand.
The media
Current
clip
ripple
can be
marks
done
are
using the
made by
computer.
water flowing in only
The other
one
reports
direction,
can be done
say a
on your
river.
own.
You'll find other sedimentary
The
structures
core
in the
lab
delta, of
should be your
course.
first stop on
Ripple
the
marks
trail
are just
of
some of the most
remarkite.
telling.
When
Finding
you've
these
analyzed
structures
your
in the
samples
ancient
in the
rock
core
record
lab,
helps
you can
us
perform
figure out
other
how the
research
water is moving.
activities.
And that helps us figure out how the rock was deposited.
Sam Shell's office.
Clyde?
No, Mr. Shell's not around.
Oh
at the
gosh, I
moment.
haven't
This
seen
is
him in
Ruby, his
weeks.
secretary. Can I help you?
It's not like Clyde to go off without telling me. But you want to know what I
excuse me.
do.
I was
besides
just
give
catching a quick
presentations.
lunch.
Well, anytime people explore
Okay.
or mine
The law
natural
of cross-cutting
resources,
relationships
we must take
states
care
that
to
when
protect
molten
the
magma
environment.
cuts through other rocks,
I
the
investigate an
intrusion of the
area where
magma
mining
is
or
assumed to be
exploration
younger than
might
the
take
rocks
place.
it cuts through. Here,
Like these
I
scientists,
can
it's
demonstrate
my
with my
job
dessert.
to evaluate
It's one of
the
those
impact on the
layered gelatin
environment of a
concoctions.
particular type
Took
of
me
mine.
hours to make.
I also
had to pour the
recommend
bottom
ways to
cherry
lessen
red
any
layer
negative
first,
impacts.
letting it chill and firm
And
before
sometimes
pouring
I
the
even
lime
recommend
green
against
layer,
the activity.
and the green layer chilling and firming before I
Basically,
poured
there
the
are two
lemon yellow
types
layer.
of mines.
And of course,
Those
the whipped
on or
cream
near
on
the
top.
Earth's surface and those under the
We
surface.
can say each layer is an event.
Underground or shaft
Now I'm sinking
mines
this spoon
can be
into my
expensive
dessert.
to construct
There it
and
goes.
operate.
through
And
the
the
whipped
engineering
cream
can be a
and
real
the lemon yellow
challenge.
layer into the
But
lime
these mines
green
generally
layer,
don't cause as
down
many
to the
kinds of
cherry red
environmental
layer.
problems as
The
surface
intrusion
or
of the
near
spoon
surface
is the most
mines.
recent event
On
in
the
the
other
very
hand,
short
surface
history
mines,
of this dessert.
quarry, open pit, and strip, are less expensive
This
to
is the
operate,
database icon.
at least initially.
Databases
These
show
days,
you how
companies
things
are
vary
required
through
to
time
reclaim
or
the
in
land
different
that was
places.
damaged during the mining
Use
operation.
databases to help with your
Restoring
research.
stripped land to its pre-mining
This
condition can
saves
be
your data.
expensive and
You can
many
use
times
save
is only
to store your
partially
data when doing
successful.
research.
The real dilemma is
This
balancing the
creates a new
dollar cost
file.
of mining
You can use
against
new to
environmental
create
cost to
files
the
to
land.
save your data when doing research. The
Clyde was
background
very
file explains the
environmentally
problem you've
sensitive.
been asked to investigate. Select the atlas you'd like to use. You're in the Fossils Atlas. Select the fossil you'd like to learn more about.
You want to know what a field
You're in the
geologist does?
Landform Atlas.
Clyde Vandercourt
Select
should
the
have asked that
landform
question.
you'd like to learn more
He could have
about.
learned something from me.
You're in the
Listen,
Depositional
the
Environment
present
Atlas.
is the key to the past.
Select
And
the
the field
environment you'd
geologist
like to learn
is
more
usually
about.
the first to turn that key. We're the
Label
ones
your
that
sample
gathered
so
the
you can
initial
identify
geologic
it
data
later.
that may tell us if
Then,
a resource is
send it to the
located
lab
in a
for later
particular area.
analysis. You're in the
You say
rock
this
type
remarkite
atlas.
is a sulfide, huh?
Select the type of rock layer
And
you'd like
Clyde
to
thinks
learn
it was
more
formed
about.
in an ancient delta?
You're in the
Sulfides
Sedimentary
are formed
Structure
in a
Atlas.
low oxygen environment.
Select the structure
In
you'd
a
like
delta,
to learn more
that's
about.
most likely to be in the quiet areas,
Select an
in
expert
a marsh
for information
or a
on a
quiet
topic
bay.
you're investigating.
If I were helping Clyde, I would
Select
study
an
recent
area of
deposits to get
interest.
some idea of the
From
processes
here,
at work.
you can also select
I would
another
then make
expert.
inferences about rocks at greater depths. Rocks formed tens of millions of years ago.
Welcome to the Core Lab.
I would make
the
notes
first
as
step
I went
in your
along
research
about
to
rock
help
type,
locate
texture,
remarkite.
and thickness.
Watch
Also
the
notes
movie to
about
find
fossils
out
and
what you'll be
sedimentary
doing in the
structures,
lab.
like crossbeds
Select
and
the
ripple
forward
marks.
arrow to
These
begin your
notes
research.
would help Clyde draw conclusions about where to locate his minerals.
Select and label your core
But he didn't
samples
ask for
here.
my help.
Then analyze them.
Most people use a map to help them get to where they're going. I
The
make a map
cores you
that tells me
sampled
where
and
I've
labeled
been.
from the site screen
By
are
taking
shown
samples
here.
from various rock
To
outcrops and
complete
drill
this
holes,
activity,
I can
you will
piece
need to
together a
analyze 3
geologic
core
map,
samples that
much
lie
like
in a
this one.
straight line.
It's a picture
If you need to
of
collect
the
more
rock
samples,
varieties, their
return
ages,
to the site
and
screen.
the structural features of
If
an
you're
area.
ready to begin, select a sample
We
to
can
analyze.
also take core samples by drilling into the earth
To
and pulling
perform
out a
this
sample
activity,
of several
it
layers
helps
of
to
rock.
understand the features of each
I describe
environment
those
you've
cores
sampled
here.
and the environment where remarkite was formed.
By
If you
analyzing
need to know more
several
about
of those
these
samples
environments,
from a broad area,
visit the hot
I
spots
can
on
put
the
together
site
a
screen
cross-section,
before performing your research here.
an approximation of what kinds of rock,
Select a layer
their
from your core
composition,
sample to
thickness,
analyze.
and shape occur below the Earth's surface.
We generally think of rock layers being deposited
But
layer
Clyde,
by layer
he
over
thought he
time.
could do it all
But over
himself.
millions of years, things happen that can upset those layers.
You're looking for
A
Clyde.
rock layer could be eroded by
Now,
water.
there's a funny guy. Fossils. They are the
Glaciers.
remains or evidence of ancient plants or animals that have been preserved in rock. For something to be fossilized, it's got to be buried
Or
quickly
wind.
by sand or mud, preferably in a low oxygen environment, say a deep lake or an
More
ocean
layers
basin,
of rock will be
where
deposited,
bacteria or
but that
scavengers can't
erosion
get to
created
it.
a gap in
When
the
these
geologic
sediments
history
harden
of that rock sequence.
and form sedimentary
We
rock,
call those
the
gaps
organisms, plants or
unconformities
animals
because
become
they
trapped.
don't conform
They
to the
become
expected
fossils.
sequence.
So I guess you can
Unconformities
think of
also
this
develop
rock
from uplift,
as a
causing the
tomb.
rock layers to tilt. Layers
You also have
deposited
trace
after
fossils,
the tilting
so
will be
called because they
horizontal.
are traces of an organism's movement recorded in the sediment
Let me
before
tell you
it
what's been
turned to rock.
happening on the bayou. There's
Some
someone that
fossils
wants to
can
go
help us
mining
figure
the
out how
Cocodrie
old a
Delta.
rock is,
I
generally.
ain't lying.
They also
And let me tell you
indicate
something
what an
else.
ancient environment
People
was
around here are
like,
plenty upset
whether the
about
rock layer was deposited
It don't
in
take
a
much
swamp,
sense to know there's
an
too
ocean,
much water in the
a
delta
desert.
for mining. The
An
water
ancient
goes down the mine
environment,
shaft,
now
and you know what
represented
you
by a
got?
rock layer,
Trouble, that's
is called
why.
a depositional
And if you go
environment.
draining the Cocodrie, then
This
you're
rock
talking big
contains
trouble.
a shrimp burrow
That would hurt
preserved
the
for
oysters.
millions of years.
And what hurts the oysters
Its
hurts the
presence
oyster fishes
tells
like
us
me.
that this rock was formed
I don't
in
know.
a coastal
Things don't
marine
look too
or
good.
shallow shelf environment. You're looking
This
for
is the
this mineral
geologic
Clyde
history
claims
puzzle
was formed in
icon.
a delta.
Try this puzzle to learn how
That's a
geologists
tricky one.
figure out the history of rock layers.
I'd look for fossils that came from fresh
This
and
is an
salt
example
water.
of a site screen.
And remember
Select
that
the file
rivers
tabs
can
or
carry
the
all
icons to
kinds of
learn more
remains
about what they
downstream.
are. Congratulations! Congratulations! You have completed your sample analysis. To continue with this activity, select the cross-section icon. You're almost through.
Core Lab, Crystal.
Sam and Claudia would be
Hi,
proud of your
Sam.
great
What a
science
pleasant
and
surprise.
detective work.
What can I do for you?
Congratulations.
Oh, sure, Sam. I'll
You
show
have
them around the
completed your
lab.
sample analysis.
Say, who's the client?
To continue with this
Or is that
activity,
privileged
select 3 core
information?
samples that lie in a straight line.
Yeah, right. I wouldn't know
Then
her.
select the cross-section icon.
Well, listen, Sam, they're here.
Sam and Claudia would be proud of your
right.
great science and detective work.
Well, maybe I'll see you around sometime.
Good work.
Bye.
Select another layer.
So, Sam
Yes.
says you want to analyze
You really
some
know how
core
to put your
samples,
clues
looking
together.
for a rock
Select
layer
another
from
layer.
a delta. Wonder what he could
Great.
be looking for from a delta.
Select another layer.
Anyway, you can use the
Super.
atlases here
You're
to
on the
look
right
up any
track.
sedimentary
The track
structures,
of
fossils,
remarkite.
and rocks in each layer.
Great inference.
You brought a notebook,
You're right.
didn't you?
Select
Good,
another
because
layer.
you'll need to take some notes. Well,
Sorry.
you figure
Have you
out what's in
collected
each
data
layer
on all the features
and
in this rock
infer
layer?
the depositional environment.
No,
Of course,
sorry.
you know it does help to know
Think
something
carefully
about a
about
delta.
the environment that might
Well,
contain the features
good
in
luck.
this layer. And try again.
I wonder what Sam is up to.
Congratulations. You've completely analyzed a core sample. Remember, you need 3 samples for a cross-section. Return to the sample selection screen to get another sample. The features in each layer of your core sample are clues to the ancient environment which formed that
You
rock
could have
layer.
not, Miss Van de Q.
Depositional
You
environment.
planning a surprise party
Remember,
this time of night?
you're looking for the
Thought you might be
depositional
hungry.
environment in
Yeah,
which
you thought
remarkite
right.
was formed.
My gut's emptier than a
Do
played-out
you
gold
remember
mine.
what kind of
Have you
environment
given
that
our
was?
sidekicks in the field their next
Be
assignment?
sure to take
Core
notes as you
matchup?
gather
You
evidence
bet.
for your
Good.
hypothesis
Without a
about the
cross-section, we
correct
don't have a prayer of
depositional
locating
environment.
remarkite.
Exactly. A cross-section fills in the gap
The
between
3
the
cores you
locations that
analyzed
our
are
rookie
pictured here.
detective sampled.
Select the layers that
gives?
match.
I was just thinking how these sandwiches
Match up the
remind me
left
of core
core
samples.
and the middle core.
Yeah? Well, I kind of
And then
figured
the
you
middle
for
and
a
right
strange
cores.
bird.
No, Sam,
If your
really,
matches
look.
are correct,
You complete a
you'll
cross-section by
produce a
matching up the layers in
cross-section.
your core sample. Like matching up
Watch
these
the movie
sandwich
to find
layers.
out more about cross-sections
Pretty smart, aren't I,
and what
Sam?
they have in
Yeah.
common with your lunch.
Brilliant as the Hope Diamond in a coal mine.
Sam,
Excellent
I can't believe
work.
that dive is
You've
your favorite
completed a
restaurant. I feel like I
cross-section.
swallowed granite.
And
What do you
this
expect? I'm a
activity.
gumshoe. I like joints that
If you
serve
were to
solid.
match up layers in 3 more
solid
core
food.
samples,
Oh my
you
gosh,
could
what
put together a
happened?
broader picture
Looks like
of the
somebody paid
geologic
us a
area.
visit and got
like
sore
this.
because nobody was home.
What could they
Using the
have
data
wanted?
you collected
Well,
and recorded in your
I
field
think they
notes,
got what they wanted.
identify the rock
Gosh, the
layer in which you
cross-section
would mine
drawings.
for remarkite.
I'll bet it was whoever's been following
In
me.
what
They
type
must
of
be
rock
after the
would you
remarkite
find
too.
remarkite?
But Sam, those
Identify
drawings won't
that
do them any
rock
good
type
without knowing the
and
geologic
record it
history.
in your field
Yeah.
notes.
And if they had to heist the core samples from us, it's a good bet they don't know
When
their
you
geology.
match up 2 rock layers
Claudia,
at the same time,
this is one time I've
you
got the
fill in the
laws on
underground
my
gap
side.
between
What
those
do you
2
mean?
environments.
The laws of superposition.
gives you a better picture of
cross-cutting
the area.
relationships.
Of course.
And where you would
the laws
find
a geologist uses to figure out the geologic history of an area.
Have you completed the core lab
Sam,
research
who could have done
activity?
this?
Well, I don't
If
know.
so, you're
But
ready to
whoever it
uncover the
was
geologic
left
history
us a
of the
calling
area
card.
you sampled and analyzed.
And they walk with a cane.
To figure out just where to mine, you need to solve the geologic history puzzle. Watch the movie to check in with Sam and Claudia and find out more about geologic history. Select the forward arrow to begin your research. Did you watch the movie? Then you know how important it is to complete this activity quickly and get your report to Sam before someone else finds Clyde. Order the rock layers and events in the picture in the sequence they occurred in geologic history. Begin with the first rock layer deposited, the oldest layer. Geologists use some basic rules to help them. Sam's secretary, Ruby, can tell you about those rules. Things can get confusing under the Earth's surface. Faults, tilts, intrusions, and erosion can upset those rock layers. This activity helps you figure out the sequence of events in the geologic history of the area. Go through Ruby's clues for information on how a geologist would approach this activity. Sorry, apply the law of superposition and try again. No. Notice how the rock layers are angled? Think of that as an unconformity. Now try again. Sorry. Notice how the top of the intrusion seems cut off? How do you think that happened? And at what point in the sequence? Not quite. Think about
2
cross-cutting
a.m. and
relationships.
my mind felt like a
Then
swamp.
try again.
We were waiting for the mining report.
No. What
The rookies
feature
were
goes
working
through
on
all
it.
layers?
They'd done an all right
That's the
job
most
for us
recent event.
so far.
Terrific job. You have
I
discovered
figured
the
they could
sequence
deliver
of
the goods on
geologic
the best
events
place
that
to mine
span
for
more than
Remarkite.
500 million
Question
years.
was, is that
Now
where
hang
we'd
on.
find Clyde?
You're going to see more than 500
Sam.
million years pass before your very eyes.
Tell it to me straight.
You can
Could
stop the
someone have
animation
kidnapped
if
my
you want
brother
more
and forced him to
information
reveal the
about
location of the
features you
highest
see.
concentration of Remarkite?
Anything's possible in this crazy, mixed-up world. But something doesn't hold. Why would someone
You're
tail
hot
us
on the trail now.
if they already had your
You're
brother
ready
to
to
lead them
decide where
Remarkite?
to mine for Remarkite.
To make sure we didn't figure it out?
Watch the movie to find
Maybe.
out what Sam and Claudia think about this decision. Select the forward arrow to
All
begin
right.
your research.
You want me to give it to you straight? I'll give it to you straight.
Sam
I don't
and
know why your
Claudia
brother
are
dropped out of
waiting on
sight.
your final
Maybe
report
he's in
on
trouble.
the best place to
Maybe
mine.
he's trying to avoid it.
Collect information
something
on
tells me
areas
we're
of
on the right
Remarkite
track,
concentration
looking for the best
and
place to
environmental
mine.
impact. Take careful notes on your
And
findings.
that would be the place where you can mine the
Then
most
make a
concentrated
hypothesis
ore
about
of
the best
Remarkite with the
location to
least
mine for
environmental
Remarkite.
impact.
Yeah, I
And
like
see
your
if
thinking,
it leads Sam
but
and
that's not always
Claudia
an
to
easy call to
Clyde
make.
and
Concentration.
Remarkite.
Versus environment.
Use the key to help you determine
Can the kids do it,
concentrations
Sam?
in various areas.
Let's hope so,
Record data in your field notes.
for Clyde's sake.
To decide on the best mining location, you need to consider concentration, cost of mining, and environmental impact.
This should be the area.
Remember,
Coastal plain,
the best
5
place
miles
to
from the
mine
nearest
is not
town,
necessarily the
medium to
area
high
with the highest
concentration of
concentration of
Remarkite.
Remarkite.
And no serious environmental damage to the area
Select
if
any
it were
zone
mined.
to get
I know this
information
is
on
where
the
Clyde
effect
would
on
have
the
come if-
environment and mining costs for this area.
Rotten eggs.
Record data in your
Or
field
sulfur.
notes.
The heat test for a sulfide.
Have you decided on the best location to mine for Remarkite? If you're not sure, you can use the concentration map and the environmental impact map to gather more information.
How did you find
If you're
me?
ready,
Oh, never mind.
select
I'm
the
just-
area on the
Well,
map
isn't
where you
this a
think Sam and
touching
Claudia
scene?
will find Clyde
Who are you?
and Remarkite.
Hi, I'm Reginald Riggin-Driven, mine
Sorry.
owner, and
Looks like you haven't
all-around
done enough
entrepreneur.
detective work to help
Yeah,
Sam
well, you're
and Claudia
crashing a
locate
private
Clyde
party here,
and
Riggin'
Remarkite.
Drillin'.
Over
Try
here,
the
man.
core lab and the geohistory
Your
puzzle.
rookies are very sharp.
Then return
Sam.
here when you've collected more information. Good luck.
Perhaps they'd like to come to work for me in my new Remarkite mine.
Think again, Riggin' Drillin'.
I have desert engineering. You want to mine out here? High concentration
What
of this
is
mineral, huh? A trick? Nope.
No,
No
Mr.
environmental
Riggin-Drillin'.
problems in this desert.
I believe you'll find it to be
You've got probably
pyrite.
100 square miles
A
of nothing but
sulfide.
nothing.
A
Of course, you have to go
common
through a
mineral.
good many layers of rock to get
Fool's
what you're
gold.
mining for. Next is getting mighty expensive. We're talking millions here.
You knew all
I'll
along,
get you
didn't
credit.
Well, I knew my brother sometimes gets carried away. And from the reports your assistants sent back, their research, the interviews with geologists, the mining location, well, I just put 2 and 2 together.
And you thought I'd
North
drop the
Desert
case if I
Engineering,
knew we
can I
were
help
on the
you?
trail of an ordinary
Mine
mineral.
for what?
But you did know,
Here?
didn't you?
Well, let's just say I
No,
had
your
mine.
environmental hazards will
Same
be
as you.
minimal here in the North Desert.
I'm
but I'll
sorry
tell
to
you,
have put you to
you
so
won't
much
get much
trouble.
bang for your buck.
See,
You're going to have to go
on
down
my
through a
field
lot of
trip,
rock
I
layers to
met
reach
some
the layer you want to
fascinating Native
mine,
Americans.
and that could get expensive.
They told me of an ancient Indian legend
How
about
expensive? Well,
beautiful
let's see
substance
now.
that glitters like the sun. The legend was so
equipment.
inspiring.
People, you gotta figure out how much per sample.
I guess I should have
Anyway.
figured that it would just be fool's gold.
Well,
My
it comes
Remarkite.
to a total of about $50 million.
But,
An
but
ounce.
it is remarkable in its
Well,
own
thanks
way.
for calling
isn't
Desert
it?
Engineering. You have a
Yeah.
nice day now.
It's the stuff dreams are made of.
3, 5, 7, 9. We don't want your stinking mind. 3, 5, 7, 9. We don't want your stinking mind.
Well, I
We're
guess
here
we've
at the
seen
Big
the last of
Blue-Hearted
him.
River, where, according to
Here's
rumor,
looking at you,
plans are
folks.
underway to mine for a mysterious mineral. As you can hear, this rumor has the local trout fishers very angry.
The face of a cliff sometimes
Many
reveals the
fear
rocks
reports
and
that
the
draining
geologic
the
history
area for
that
the
make up a
mine
region.
could ruin the trout fishing.
Erosion is
There has even
responsible
been
for
talk of
forming many cliff
redirecting the
faces.
river,
Rivers,
a costly and
streams,
environmentally damaging
glacier ice,
endeavor.
wind
Big
and
River
ocean
trout
waves
fishers
wear
are
away
letting people know
material
how they
to
feel.
expose great
This
thicknesses
is
of
Rebecca
rock.
Story,
People
Eyewitness
can
News.
also remove material. Rock in the Grand Canyon was exposed as the Colorado River removed rock over millions of years.
I'd be happy for a
As you
mining
move down the
operation to
canyon
locate
walls,
near here.
you
Why,
encounter
that would be a
progressively older
wonderful
geologic
idea.
rock formations
Your Honor?
until
What about
finally
Just think
you
what
meet
a boom such an
Precambrian
activity
rocks.
would have for our
In
economy.
a sense, then,
Excuse
a
me,
cliff
Mayor,
face
but the
exposes
report said the
time for
concentration of the
geologists to
mineral
study.
was
As you know, my re-election campaign
The river is our
based on
primary
my
agent for
commitment
removing and
to more
transporting
jobs.
sediments from the continents to the
so
oceans.
low, the mine wouldn't last
The
a year.
meandering river is common to coastal plains.
No,
Generally, as
let's start
sediments
the
travel
parade.
downstream, they will become smaller and rounder from the movement of the water. Overall, rocks formed by rivers will show coarser grains at the bottom and finer grains at the top. This is called
Ladies and
graded
gentlemen of the
bedding.
City Council, my name
In
is
addition to
JoJo
river-dwelling
Splashley.
animals, you may
probably know
find
me as the
mammal,
water ski
reptile,
champion of Brush
and other
Gardens,
terrestrial
which,
animal
as you
bones
know,
within rocks
is this
formed by
county's
rivers.
largest employer and one
The
of our
river may
main
have washed
sources
these
of revenue,
remains far
since it's such a
downstream
big
from their
tourist
original
draw,
habitat.
and it's one of the most
A
popular
glacier is a
recreation
large
areas
mass
in
of
this
ice
whole
and snow
region.
that has
For these
accumulated
reasons,
over
I'm
thousands
speaking
of
to
years.
you against their
These
proposed
heavy
mining
masses can
operation.
flow across a
Ladies
wide
and gentlemen,
area.
I don't care how
As
profitable that mine
glaciers
could
melt
be,
and retreat,
it would destroy
the
our
debris
lake
they may have picked up is
and
dropped
harm our
randomly,
drinking water
forming
supply.
conglomerates.
Thousands of children would have nowhere
This
to swim.
meltwater may
Thousands
collect
of
in
families
lakes,
would be out
depositing
of work.
clay to form shale
my
and
career
limestone.
as Brush Gardens water ski champion
Glacier
would be
deposits may
sunk.
contain fossils
The
of
mine
mammals
must
because
not happen.
extensive glaciation took place after the development of mammals. Not all lakes are formed by glaciers. Many are produced
So you
by
folks
natural
want to buy up
processes
this land for
or by
mine,
dams.
huh?
Clams,
Well,
snails,
step into
and
this
fish
swamp
are
boat
typical of
and
all
let me show
lakes.
you around.
Deserts receive very little precipitation, and what does occur quickly evaporates. These
This
dry,
here's a
flat
hard
lake
Bogalaga
beds
swamp.
collect water from rainfall and
Construct a
mountain
mine,
snowmelt.
you'd have to drain the swamp
When the
first.
water evaporates, salts are
Gators
deposited.
won't like that much.
Sedimentary structures found in desert environments include mud cracks, raindrop impressions, and rootlet traces from lake beds.
Mosquitoes get
Desert
pretty fierce out
sand
here
dunes,
too.
formed by winds
And I don't
sweeping
know how
across
all
the
that heavy
landscape,
equipment
are
is
dominated
gonna
by
take the mud out
fine-grained
here.
quartz and feldspar.
Now, I'm no tree hugger, you understand?
Fossils are
I've
rare
gotten
in
pretty
desert
darn
rocks
fond of this place.
because here
We
organisms
got
are
us some
rapidly
birds and butterflies
decomposed
you
and
won't find
slowly
too many other
buried.
places.
You may sometimes
You go
find
messing
bones of
around with the
reptiles or
swamp, and they'll
fish
be gone.
buried in sand dunes
And
or
who knows how
lake
that'll
bottoms.
affect the food chain.
The marine shelf is a
How bad y'all
dynamic
want this
environment
mine?
where several geologic processes go on at once. Near shore, waves and currents move sand along the coast and along the ocean bottom.
Operate a mine near the beach.
These movements produce
I mean, we've already
sedimentary
got a
structures
radical tar
such
ball
as ripple
problem, man,
marks,
'cause we have this
dunes,
oil drilling
and
going on
bars.
down the coast. It would, like,
Rocks found in
totally
the marine
devastate
shelf
opportunities
may
for
contain
excellent
sand,
surfing.
which forms sandstone.
No way, man.
Shells of
Listen,
sea
I know
animals,
about this
which form
stuff.
limestone,
I won first
and
place
near
at the
mountainous
science fair
regions,
with my
gravel,
project on the
which
effects
forms
of underground
conglomerate.
shaft mines on the shallow
You'll
marine
also find
shelf.
fossils of marine
First
organisms.
of all, it's mega expensive.
Generally,
You've got
the
to start
farther
the
out
mine
from shore,
onshore and
the
dig
finer the
way
size
down
of
to
the
get to the
sediments.
mineral. Then you're going to have problems keeping
A
water out of
swamp
the shaft.
is a
I'm
saturated
telling you, it's
environment
not
of standing
worth it.
water and
Hey,
trees.
surf's up. I'm out of here,
Swamps
dude.
are the source of some sand and clay, but mainly mud that forms shale deposits. Also peat, formed from the
Sam Shell's
decomposition
office?
of organic
No,
matter.
Mr. Shell's not around at the moment.
Under
This
high
is
pressure
Ruby,
and
his secretary.
temperature,
Can
over
I help
time,
you?
peat
Superposition?
turns to coal.
Sure, I can tell you about superposition.
Because there is
I've
little
been Sam's
oxygen in
secretary
this
so long,
soggy
I've picked up
environment,
more than his mail.
fossils of plants,
I picked up some
insects,
geology, too.
reptiles,
In geology,
even birds
we assume that
are
rock
common
layers
and
build
well
one on top
preserved.
of another, so that each
The
layer
sediment
is older
here
than
is
the one
generally
above it,
fine-grained,
and younger
and you
than the
may
one
find
below it.
plants
We
embedded in
call
mud.
this the law of superposition.
A delta
Think
is
of
an
Sam's mail
accumulation of
stack.
sediment
This
where
letter
a
from the
river or
American Rock
stream
Collectors
discharges into
Association
an
is on
ocean,
top.
sea,
So
or
it's
lake.
the most recent mail.
These gifts
The
from the
further
rivers
down
to
the
the
stack
sea
we go, the
are
older
the
the
most
mail.
complex
So
of
at the
all
bottom,
depositional environments
this bill from the
because
phone
so many
company is the
processes
oldest
operate
mail in the
within this
stack.
system.
Phone company?
Ancient
Sam!
deltaic deposits are one of the
Dear
prime
Mr.
sources
Shale,
of fossil
this is your
fuels.
final notice. If you do not
In
pay
the
this
rock
bill
record,
within 5
you will
days,
find
service
shale,
will be
silt, and sand. And at the bottom of the river channel, conglomerate, with perhaps some bones. You will also find a variety of sedimentary structures because of the river and ocean processes geniuses at work here.